what's your reaction to Kash Patel? Now TBD, but the committee has voted to advance him out, and he is another one who many say will be a lot of change. We know his work before, but also his work as a public defender. You know, the left really didn't want to highlight some of the accolades he got while working under the Obama administration for, you know, rooting out terrorists.
This is another tale of two Americas, right? Red America looks at Kash Patel and says, there's literally no one who'd be better for this job. And Blue America looks at him and says, there'd literally be no one worse for this job. And you saw that reflected in the partisan committee vote. I think it's also kind of humorous that someone who, you know, in the abstract would have been the most controversial Trump nominee didn't even make the top four. And will be interesting to see, of course, again, how does he actually do the job? Is it the firebrand who talked about shutting down the building not that long ago and turning it into a museum? Or is it the more conciliatory guy who showed up at the confirmation hearings and didn't win Democratic votes, but won over Republicans, some of whom were skeptical when he first got named?
So as we watch the Hill today, it's not just these big confirmation hearings that are happening. We also know the House is looking to release this budget resolution, advancing it out of the committee today. Donald Trump has campaigned on a lot of things, including, you know, no tax on tips. The SALT issue has been problematic, razor thin, you know, House majority. And you have some holdouts like Ralph Norman and Chip Roy, although Johnson says he expects this to pass unanimously. What are you hearing from your sources, Mark, on where this stands?
Well, Speaker Johnson's a confident guy, and he's from a state with legalized gaming, so maybe it's a bit of a bluff. I don't think he has the votes in hand, but he was quite confident in saying they'll get them. You know, they say politics is the art of the possible. This is going to have to be the art of the impossible, because there is no margin of error, and there are Republicans who don't like the marker that's been laid down. But my sources suggest what Speaker Johnson said, which is they're going to make a virtue out of having no margin of error. And they're going to tell House Republicans, do you want to be the one who brings down the Trump presidency? And in the past, when newly elected presidents have made that demand and that claim, it's generally worked.
We're watching it. We're also watching another day and more temper tantrums, you know, from the left. A lot of reaction coming out from these news conferences, Mark, they have them in the middle of the day where I guess most Americans are doing things like working. But there were comments by squad member Democratic Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley that I want to play because she's saying something that seems to indicate that they want to go back to where we were, I guess, pre-Elon buying Twitter. Let's play this.
You talk about people invading our data. Listen.
I'll speak on behalf of my colleagues. I think I can say we are all willing to work with anyone who's serious about doing the work of censoring the American people and advancing progress.
Was that a misspeak? Censoring the American people? I don't think that's going to fly with the American people. Your take?
I had trouble understanding her meaning. Maybe she did misspeak. I have to say I have great sympathy for people who occasionally misspeak in public when they're at a live event or maybe even on television. So I'll give her a mulligan on that, and maybe she'll come back and explain it.
All right. Well, let's play this. This was the subcommittee on DOGE. See how many mulligans you feel you want to give out today. Democrats talking about Elon.
This other thing about Elon. Elon's going to steal everybody's money. He has $400 billion. I'm telling you, he's not going to steal your money. He's going to find out what's going on, and that's good. That's good for everybody. That's how you should be looking at this.
Not the Democrats, but it is Joe Rogan, and you know his massive platform. That seems to be the way a lot of people are feeling right now. And we saw that, you know, kind of incredible, historic Oval Office news conference with Elon Trump, Elon's son, but he says people voted for maximum reform. In many ways, he says that's what they're going to get. I just don't think Washington's ready for it. Mark.
Well, a lot of the country's ready for it, and I think the Democrats still haven't figured out how to talk about it. I will say this, if I'm in a dispute on the National Town Square, I definitely want Joe Rogan on my side.
Definitely. Mark Halperin, always great to have you with us. Thanks so much.
Thank you,
and we'll
Bianca.
see you back here real soon, I hope.